The United States Constitution is one of the most consequential legal documents ever written. But there's a signature on it that has no legal validity whatsoever. One name, sitting right there in New York's column, signed by a man who had already lost his legal right to represent the state. No standing, no vote, no authority. And here's the thing that should bother you. That illegal signature might be exactly the reason this country exists. September 1787, Philadelphia. Under the convention rules, New York needed at least 2 delegates present for their vote to count. Look at the New York table. One man. His 2 colleagues packed up and left months ago. By every rule in that room, he is a ghost. Present, breathing, and completely without power. Common sense says, go home. But he already knew what happens when everyone goes home. That's the whole problem. Alexander Hamilton, 32 years old. Born illegitimate on the island of Nevis, raised on St. Croix. His father disappeared early. His mother died when he was 13. No safety net, no citizenship, no floor. And St. Croix in the 1760s was not a stable place. It was a colonial economy built on coercion, where order was thin and collapse was always one bad season away. He grew up watching what happens when systems fail, not as an abstraction, but as the daily texture of his life. Most people in that Philadelphia room feared a tyrant. Hamilton feared something older and harder to name. The abyss that opens up when there's nothing at all. That fear is the operating system behind everything he does next. Before we go further, go ahead and forget every oil painting you've ever seen of this moment. There is no golden light, no quiet dignity. The windows are nailed shut. They voted to keep their arguments private, which means Philadelphia in July, 50 men in full wool coats and powdered wigs. 4 straight months of vicious back and forth in a 40 by 40 foot room. Not one person in that room was happy with the result. Some thought the Constitution went too far. Some thought it was a bad joke. 3 delegates would refuse to sign entirely. This was not a harmonious founding. It was exhausted, heat-soaked men holding their noses and cutting a deal. Which is, honestly, how most important things actually get made. Nobody puts that in the paintings either. Hamilton's position, specifically, was worse than most. New York sent 3 delegates. The other 2, Robert Yates and John Lansing, weren't there to build anything. Governor Clinton had sent them on a clear mission. Make sure no powerful central government comes out of this room. New York had its own ports, its own economy, its own tax base. A strong federal government was a threat, not a promise. So every time Hamilton voted yes, Yates and Lansing voted no. 2 against 1 every single time. For months. By July 10th, they'd had enough. They packed up and left. And filed a report back to Clinton, explaining exactly why this whole convention was a mistake. Under the convention rules, New York was now officially unrepresented. Hamilton went from underdog delegate to legal phantom in a single afternoon. Here's where it gets complicated. Because right before his colleagues walked out, Hamilton had already done something that looked, from the outside, completely self-destructive. He stood up and gave a 6-hour speech. 6 hours, laying out his full vision. A powerful central government, strong executive authority, and the part that killed him, a president serving effectively for life. In a room full of men who had just spent years fighting a king, that landed about as well as you'd expect. Dead silence. Then there everyone quietly moved on and agreed among themselves that Hamilton was a closet monarchist. His credibility cratered. His ideas became a punchline. But here's a different way to read it. He knew the room. He knew how it would land. And he said it anyway. Because a man who grew up watching what ungoverned chaos actually looks like doesn't believe in half measures. He'd rather be wrong loudly than right quietly and watch the whole thing collapse in 5 years. It still cost him everything politically. That part isn't complicated.
So he backed down, went back to New York, kept his head down for weeks, watching the convention grind forward without him. Then a letter arrived. Private, marked with Washington's seal. Washington wasn't a man given to dramatic personal appeals. He ran things through structure, through hierarchy, through the weight of his presence. A direct letter like this was not a routine move. He wrote, plainly, "I am distressed you are not here. We need you." That was it. No argument, no strategy, just that. Hamilton came back. Not because he was ordered to, but because Washington's letter confirmed the only thing that mattered. The people still in that room understood the stakes, and they were running out of time. By September, the end is close. 81-year-old Benjamin Franklin is too frail to stand, so he has someone else read his remarks aloud. He said, "There are several parts of this Constitution I do not approve of, but the older I get, the more I doubt my own judgment." He was asking a room of enormous egos, men who had spent months fighting for every clause, to swallow their pride and sign a document none of them actually loved. Most of the room heard it as a call for unity. Hamilton heard something else. He'd spent his career being the most stubborn, the most uncompromising voice in every room he entered, and it had cost him his credibility, his colleagues, and most of his leverage. His ideas weren't wrong. His execution had been catastrophic. And here was the most respected man alive, telling him, getting real things done means knowing when your pride is the problem. 3 delegates still refused. Randolph thought the whole experiment was doomed. Mason wanted a Bill of Rights first. And history, for what it's worth, proved him right. Hamilton himself knew the final document was weaker than it needed to be. The central government was still too fragile for what he had in mind. But when the parchment reached the empty New York table, he stood up. Nobody checked his legal standing. Nobody asked. The room had been going for 4 months, and everyone just wanted it to be over. He picked up the pen. He knew exactly what he was doing. This wasn't a desperate man grabbing at his last option. This was a calculated decision by someone who had run the math on both outcomes. A flawed document with his name on it, or no document at all, and the abyss he'd spent his whole life trying to outrun. He signed. The holdouts missed something fundamental. The alternative to a flawed constitution was not a better one. It was warlords, regional fragmentation, the kind of collapse that doesn't have a floor. The kind Hamilton had seen up close in a different form on a Caribbean island before he was old enough to vote. He wasn't signing because he believed in the document. He was signing because he believed in the alternative even less. Go find the original Constitution today. Look at the New York column. One name. Legally questionable, historically undeniable. The deepest irony in the whole story is this. The man most obsessed with building a nation governed by law founded it by operating outside the law. and did it with full awareness of what he was doing, not in spite of his principles, because of them. A legitimate country, an illegitimate signature, and the only man in the room who fully understood why that trade was worth making. But this is only the beginning, because building something that actually lasts, with compromised men and compromised documents, means we have to talk about what happened next, and about someone else entirely. An ambitious young man who once desperately wanted to wear a British redcoat. Next time.